This is going to be a bit of a spicy meatball. This is going to be a hot topic all throughout the day, which is why I'm filming it the night before. It's currently Wednesday night, but we got to talk about this whole Last of Us Part 1 remake, remaster, reimagining, whatever the hell they're calling it, for the PlayStation 5. Now, this, of course, was unveiled to us during Summer Games Fest. It was the big announcement that got leaked early, but it sounded really interesting on paper for huge fans of The Last of Us, a new chance to play the game with some modern enhancements for the PS5. Now, briefly speaking, I'm not the biggest fan of The Last of Us in the world. I played the first game. I beat it when it first came out, bought it on day one. Thought it was a really good game, 8.5-ish sort of game. There were some things that I wasn't a huge fan of. The Walking Dead-esque story didn't do anything for me. And for a lot of people, if the story didn't resonate with you, your enjoyment wasn't quite as high as others who did resonate with the story. The Last of Us 2, I thought was a great leap in the sort of gameplay. There was more open areas. It was a hell of a lot more fun to me. And once again, I didn't really necessarily care for the story because I believe in revenge and seeking your revenge through. People tell me the story wasn't about revenge. That's just my interpretation of it. Take it or leave it. I don't really care. But with this whole thing, this has been a very interesting road because The Last of Us 1, Part 1, is the new game. But the first Last of Us game, of course, came out on the PlayStation 3. Then it was remastered for the PlayStation 4. And now it's being redone again for the PlayStation 5 at $70. Now, some gameplay leaked of the game last night on Twitter. I can't show any of that because of the fact that, well, Sony's going to be DMCAing people. I'll show you guys some images. I'll show you guys some stuff that Sony themselves has announced, but you could go on Twitter and type in, The Last of Us leaks and see all of this stuff. And the gameplay has a lot of people questioning, where's the $70 leap with this game? What has really been done to this game? And I feel like it's accumulation of different things that have sort of brought us to this situation. Because when you look at the whole launching and unveiling of the game, it was very sort of mysterious. Like they really didn't say a whole hell of a lot. We got a PlayStation blog post that we're going to check out in just a second that sort of expanded on things to sort of give us an indication what this game was going to be. So let's take a look at that and then we'll talk about that and how it plays into this new leaked gameplay footage. We've implemented modernized gameplay, improved controls, and expanded accessibility options in the single-player experience to allow even more individuals to enjoy the game. Effects, exploration, and combat have all been enhanced. Leveraging the PlayStation's 5 powerful hardware, we also implemented 3D audio, I don't care about that, haptics and adaptive triggers. Both returning fans and new players alike will have the opportunity to experience The Last of Us Part 1 and its prequel story Left Behind in a whole new way. So when you read that, a whole new way, enhanced gameplay, enhanced graphics, the graphics I don't think we're really going to talk about all that much because we kind of seen what they did. They changed the character models. There's some really good transition slides on the official PlayStation page that you could see. They changed the character models to make them look, I guess, more like how they did in The Last of Us Part 2. I'm not the biggest fan of these. Like, I think Ellie looks better here on the PlayStation 4. She looks more like a kid instead of like a young teenager. I don't know. It just really boils down to personal preference, but you can definitely see there was some work done on the character animations as far as how the characters look and how the characters are perceived. You can see here, this is Part 1, this is remaster. Okay, obviously there's some better lighting and stuff like that. I get it. It does look different. It does look enhanced if you like that graphical style, if you like that sort of more Last of Us 2 style. But I don't think most people are playing this game to see the enhanced visuals of the game, because obviously it's going to be enhanced to a certain degree. Obviously a PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5 jump. It was more about the gameplay. How are you going to differentiate this game from the first Last of Us remaster that we got on the PlayStation 4? This will be the third time this game is released, and looking at this gameplay footage, there's not really all that much stuff going on. It looks a little bit faster than the original game does. In terms of like the pacing of the animations and the pacing of the characters, it definitely looks more like The Last of Us 2. But as far as the actual gameplay mechanics in The Last of Us 2, such as being able to go prone and stuff like that, you can't do that in this game. And I feel like that's where some of this confusion is being led into, because people don't seem to really register this, but this game comes out on September 2nd. The game has already gone gold, meaning that the game is complete. It just has to be shipped out and all that sort of stuff. And besides the initial little teaser trailer that we got when the game was first talked about, we've seen no actual gameplay from it. Why is that? Why have details been so scant about this game? Why haven't Naughty Dog come out and said, hey, this is what's different in this game. This is what's enhanced in this game. Because when you're talking about enhancing gameplay and enhancing environments, do you mean that in a visual sense? Do you mean that in a performance stance? Or do you mean that in an actual gameplay where it feels different? Environments where they look different and they are different in how you traverse them? Because let's be real, The Last of Us 1, the environments weren't very open-ended. They were pretty linear. Not that that's a knock against it or anything, but The Last of Us 2 is considered to be a better gameplay experience than the first game for a lot of people, myself included, because you had more freedom. And in a post-apocalyptic sort of thing, you would expect there to be more freedom instead of just this linear traversal system that the game offers, and linear areas and linear paths that you have to go down. You definitely had more freedom in the second game, but it doesn't seem like any of that has translated over to this version of the game. And then we get to the whole, thinking mentality. Well, on the PlayStation 3, this game had online multiplayer, and it was $60. This is $70 for, I guess, a slightly enhanced version of the game that you can play on your PlayStation 5, even though you can play the remake or the remaster from the PS4 on the PlayStation 5 currently, and it doesn't have the multiplayer. It's essentially sort of half the game. Now, some people are able to look past that. I understand why some people are able to look past that, because they're big fans of this franchise. They're big fans of this series. I think as an outsider, if you didn't know any better, it's kind of like, oh, no big deal. I guess maybe this whole thing, the whole reason this game exists is to maybe be an introduction for those people who got in with The Last of Us on The Last of Us Part 2 and never played the first game. To which I say, okay, I can kind of understand it, but it just kind of feels like maybe this whole project was a little bit rushed. Maybe they wanted this game to be out in the holiday season. Maybe they were nervous. Maybe Sony was nervous that God of War, was going to slip into 2023. So they needed something to sort of as a backup just in case. So they at least had one game. And The Last of Us Part 1 seems to be that one game. I want you guys to go look at the footage online, though, because I think that's really telling with how much has quote unquote changed. Like, the graphics just look kind of darker. They got rid of some of the colors from the characters and stuff like that. Like, I watched this one gameplay clip that someone who was trying to defend the game, they're like, hey, you're all idiots. You don't know what you're talking about. This game's going to be great. And they showed kind of a side-by-side comparison of a scene from the original game and a scene from this version of the game. And really, besides the faces definitely looked better in this version of the game, but really, it was just different colors. The colors were more muted on the better version of the game, on the Part 1 version of the game. I don't know, it's kind of spooky, and I know you might be sitting there thinking to yourself, well, RGT, let's be real. You play a lot of Nintendo shit. They do this stuff all the time, and you're okay with it. And I'm not okay with it, first and foremost. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze could burn in a fire. That game should have never been $60 with the inclusion of Funky Kong. And of course, Skyward Sword is a game that I think you're going to hear a lot of people mention, but it's kind of funny because a lot of diehard Sony fans were making fun of, diehard Nintendo fans for enjoying Skyward Sword when it seems like this is going to be their Skyward Sword moment. But at least with Skyward Sword, you could say that it was a better version of the game. And it was for me personally, because I never finished Skyward Sword on the Wii. I couldn't deal with those motion controls. I didn't like them. They just didn't hit with me. They didn't resonate with me. And this new control scheme completely worked for me. It worked so much better. It made me actually able to enjoy and finish the game for the first time. I can't say that about the Wii version of the game. Now, with The Last of Us, I've already beaten this game. I know how the story goes. It doesn't look like they're going to do any new story elements, because of the fact that, hey, they're not doing much in terms of anything else, so why would they add in new story elements? I just think it's the handling is really what it boils down to. They try to go the sort of, under the radar route with this. They kind of wanted to leave it up to mystery and leave it up to, speculation. And I feel like people's speculations got so high when you're saying, oh, it's going to be more like The Last of Us 2. Like, you're thinking, oh, well, that's awesome. That game was really a great leap in terms of this gameplay style that you're trying to convey with these games. That makes perfect sense. We want to see these more open areas and being able to stealth it more and crawling into things. And it's like, well, no, you can't quite do that, but it's a little bit faster with this new version of the game. That's $70. And it's still going to sell well. That's the crazy thing. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. None of this matters. This video doesn't matter. Every other person's video, you know, questioning this game and potentially saying the game is bad. I'm not saying the game is going to be bad at all. It's still a really good game at the end of the day. But I question the need for this version of the game, especially with this leak footage, as the game has gone gold. There's been no official footage for this game. It almost feels like they're hiding something from you. But like I said, it doesn't matter. The game's going to sell. So what does it matter at the end of the day? These are just my thoughts on this whole situation. I want to hear what you have to say, though. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of differentiating opinions. If you're mad at me for my opinion, go outside. It's video games. Like, who cares? This is just how I view the situation. But yes, go check out the leaked footage on Twitter. Give me your feedback in the comments section down below. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share. Hit that bell notification as well. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later.